All right, everyone. Welcome to our Unit 2 exam after school review. We'll be doing Unit 6 questions for your AP classroom practice. So talk to class, and one of the first ones I wanted to cover was question number 1. And it says, in a country that has flexible exchange rate and a banking system with limited reserves. Okay, flexible exchange rate, limited reserves regime, and an open market sale of bonds by the central bank will most likely change the money supply, interest rate, and the country's value of currency in which following ways. All right, so let's start selling bonds. If we sell bonds, where's the money going? Is this expansionary monetary policy or contractionary? Sell bonds, bonds go to the banks, money comes to the central bank, money's in the Fed, the money's dead. That is contractionary. So the money supply will decrease. So we got decrease, decrease, decrease. So I can ignore A and B. All right, what will the interest rate do? So that's your money market graph. So we decrease supply of money, interest rates will increase. Okay, so D and E. All right, what is the value of the currency going to do? Well, that's I in TIPSY. So if investment spending goes up, if interest rates are higher in our country, where is the money going to go? Money chases interest, so more demand for, let's call it the dollar or my currency. So demand for my currency increases, my currency will appreciate and therefore increase. So the answer is delta. Oh, good. All right. Number 2. Which of following be a current account transaction? All right, let's figure it out. India buys $10 billion United States Treasury bonds. U.S. Treasury bonds are a financial asset, financial account. Okay, United States buys 5% of the stock in the United States firm. That is a financial asset, financial account. United States firm builds a new factory in Kenya. So that's buying a factory, therefore that would be capital. So that's financial actually physical capital. So that's financial. United States sells $500 million of its products to a Chinese company. That's exports, current account. And now he buys $1 billion worth of euros. That would be investment. So financial asset, euros. Does that help?
Yeah.
So that was a good question. All right, you guys wanted 9 and 10, right?
Yes.
We'll just do 4 while we're at it. Okay.
I just want to see like the way you solve it.
Okay. So the price of krona, oh, they got the right currencies. Love it. All right. Changes from 12 yen per krona to 13 yen per krona. Okay, so right there I'd stop and just because these numbers are always weird. Did the krona appreciate or depreciate? Appreciated, because 1 krona now buys me more yen. What did the yen do? Okay, so you guys got it? Krona appreciate. I would write that down just in my head to go, I see it. All right, then which of the following describes the change in the yen and the change in the cost of Swedish goods to residents of Japan? All right, so the yen will what? Depreciate. The krona appreciated, so to Japanese people, Swedish goods look what? More expensive. So the yen will depreciate and the cost of goods, Swedish goods residents would increase. There you go. Any questions? Let's do 9 and 10. Good. Come on. All right, if the real interest rate, the real interest rate in country X increases relative to the interest rate in country Y, there are no trade barriers between the countries, then for country X, which will following be true of its capital flow, the value of its currency, and its exports. So X has a higher interest rate. So capital will flow what?
To country X.
So the inflows to country X. The value of its currency will appreciate. And its exports will, exports are now what?
Cheaper. Or
No.
sorry, more.
Right. If my currency appreciates, that means to other countries, my goods are more expensive, so exports should fall. So, you guys got it? On a lot of these, without looking at the table, try to answer the three parts and then find the right one. So when you start looking, it's too many options. You don't need options. You just need the one right answer.
So since the money's flowing into country X, demand for their currency is going up, and that's why it appreciates.
You got it. Money's flowing into the country, demand for it increases, causing that country's currency to appreciate. All right, country alpha has been experiencing higher inflation rate than beta over the past decade. Which of the following is true?
It'll depreciate.
All right. If alpha is higher inflation, that means its goods look more expensive to country beta.
Yeah.
And beta's goods look cheaper. So alpha's currency will depreciate.
Because they're not the demand for country B's currency is going to go up.
And therefore country A's must. Good.
Why would bring alpha appreciate?
Because they have the high inflation. So country alpha, country beta. If alpha's prices are high, remember the exchange rate hasn't changed yet. So that means if you're in country beta and I have inflation, all my goods look what to you? More expensive. So how many of my goods are you going to want to buy? So how many of my money do you want? So my currency will depreciate. Your currency is doing the opposite. It'll appreciate. So does that help?
I thought it was like, so inflation versus interest rates. If there's a higher interest.
Correct.
Okay.
Inflation is price level on Tipsy. It's a little different. So good. 11. What else do you guys want? Tell me when to stop.
Oh wait, 13.
All right, we can go to 13. Okay, 13. The price of Japanese-made pen in Japan is 500 yen. Okay. If the current exchange rate, a German buyer can buy the pen in Japan for 100 euros, then the exchange rate between the two currencies is 5 yen to 1 euro. Oh, or
No.
5 yen to a euro, yeah. So
How do you know which currency you put on? Like if it's a fraction, right?
So it's 5 yen to 1 euro, or 1 euro buys you 0.2, I'm sorry, 1 yen buys you 0.2 euros. So look, you have euros and yen flip. So I saw 0.2, I'm like, oh, but it's 0.2 yen to euro. No, it should be 5 yen to a euro. And if you're wondering which one is it, yen, 0.2 or 0.5, which one's more valuable, euros or yen in this example?
Or no,
Euros.
Euros is what.
Because 100 will buy you the pen, but 500 to buy you the same thing in yen. So yen would have to be the less valuable currency. So 1 euro will get me 5 yen, or 1 yen will get me 0.2 or 20 euro cents. You guys got it? Okay.
14.
I do 14. All right. Table gives you values of selected accounts and nations' balance of payments in millions of dollars. Based on the table, the nation's trade balance is equal to which of the following? Okay, so this is all on which account? That's all in the current account, but they actually only ask you from what? The trade balance. And trade balance is the balance of trade between goods and services only. So we export 500, import 400. What's our trade balance? Positive 100.
What's the wording for all of them?
If I said, what is the current account or financial account balance? Well, this is exports minus imports, so that should actually be a minus. So that would be plus 100. Then we'd say income from abroad. That. Okay, they've already, net income, they've already done that. So it would be plus 100, so that'd be negative 50. And transfers, we'll say transfers in is 20. So it's actually going to be negative 30. That would be the current account balance. And then I said, what's the financial account balance? Positive 30, yeah, there you go. Good enough. All right. Any more?
And then I got 15 more, but I think I get it now. It's just which would follow lead to a decrease. Yeah,
It's
I
a
didn't
tipsy
understand.
question at its core.
Yeah, I didn't understand the inflation thing with that,
Mhm.
but yeah, decrease interest rates.
Are there any more you guys want to cover?
Do 11.
Yeah, we can do that. I was like, may as well ask. Ooh, I feel like I missed it. Yeah, there we go. Assume that the supply of loanable funds increases in country X. Okay, so right away, all I see is that'll do what to real interest rates? Supply of loanable funds increases. Decrease. So interest rates in country X fell. Okay, just with that lens, the international value of country X's currency and country X's exports will change in which of the following ways. If interest rates in country X fall, will they have inflows or outflows? Outflows, so their currency will depreciate. Good. So right there. And what's going to happen to exports if their country currency depreciates? Their exports will increase, imports decrease. There you go. All right. Any more, guys? Okay. Any other questions you guys wanted to ask?
Can you go over, this is not having to do with Forex, but can you just go over what happens when monetary and fiscal policy occur at the same time? There are some of that in the second. but
Okay.
I was just gonna-
So, kind of got this whole graph situation set for you guys. Essentially, if we had like one ABAS model and we're doing monetary and fiscal policy at the same time, it depends on what they're saying is happening. So let's say we do some expansionary fiscal policy. So that would increase the average demand curve, right? Except I could say something like there's deficit spending now. Okay, so now I go ahead and demand more loanable funds, causing interest rates to increase, causing investment to decrease, bringing our demand back. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is this caused interest rates to rise. That make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. But on the other hand, let's say, do we want to match this policy or fight this policy with monetary policy? Match it. So if we wanted to do expansionary monetary policy, okay, cool. That we said we came back, but that would increase our demand out here again. How? Because we would do expansionary monetary policy, causing or lowering the administered rates. But either way, causing nominal interest rates to fall, causing investment to increase, causing that higher demand to shift right. But in short, what did we do with the interest rates? Lower them. But what did the expansionary fiscal policy do? What did interest rates do as a total?
Or, I mean,
Change by some.
but you don't know which one is more.
Right. Did I give you enough information to say they cancel each other out perfectly? In reality, is probably one of them going to have a stronger effect than the other.
Yeah.
Which one? We don't know. But it did dampen the effect of crowding out, right? Doing the
Yeah.
expansionary monetary policy. So yeah, that would also be a thing.
Okay, so if you do expansionary monetary, say you did expansionary monetary policy and contractionary fiscal policy, like you just don't know.
What would that do to the interest rate?
Would those cancel? And so never.
Those would not cancel out. Here's what's tricky is you're going to use word like expansionary fiscal policy, monetary policy. But remember, what kind of fiscal policy did we do to cause crowding out? Expansionary. So if we did contractionary, then we could go ahead, all right, we bring aggregate demand back, but that could lead to a budget surplus. And if we have a budget surplus, then we didn't actually need that to happen. We would have an increase in supply, causing interest rates to fall. And then we did expansionary monetary policy, causing interest rates to fall. So what are interest rates definitely going to do?
Okay.
That's why be careful with the expansion. Think of what's happening, not the word. Because you're not alone. I've had like 10 kids today get the wrong kind of fiscal policy because they're like, oh, but interest rates went up. That was contractionary. No, expansionary causes crowding out. It fights itself. So crowding out and fiscal policy, that you have expansionary with a crowding out fighting it. Does that make sense? So it's tricky.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at this one. It says that the government simultaneously engages in expansionary monetary and fiscal policies with the effect on interest rates and unemployment.
So what are interest rates going to do?
You don't know because
We don't know. But remember, we had the expansionary fiscal policy, but with crowding out. But then an expansionary monetary policy.
the unemployment rate is below.
Yeah. Output increase, so unemployment rate must have fallen.
Yeah.
Okay? Sound good?
Yeah, those are extreme, yeah.
So it's double shifters.
It's essentially just saying,
It reminds me of that.
at its very core, it's expansionary monetary or fiscal policy could lead to crowding out and interest rate effects, right? Because the moment they say interest rates, I'm like crowding out's in the game. And that would cause interest rates to go up. But what would expansionary monetary policy do? That would cause interest rates to fall. So what are interest rates going to do then? We don't know. That's the right answer. But expansionary monetary policy and expansionary fiscal policy must make aggregate demand do what? Increase. Even with crowding out, tamping that effect some, like you're going to get an increase. So unemployment must have fallen.
So there's just a bigger increase without the.
Yes. Crowding out could be total, but not if you have monetary policy keeping interest rates down. So we're putting it down with pressure. Any others, guys? Not sure? Okay, well, that was a quick one. Hope you guys are studying all the questions. They're coming at you soon.